Welcome to the Relationship Economy. I'm Jay Deragon. This show is brought to you by Social Media Connection. We've been doing a series, on the impact of social media on the educational system. And we had a guest. We have him back, Carter Smith. Carter, welcome.
Thank you, Jay.
Carter is a professor, teaches in multiple universities, and more importantly, he's had lots of experience in social media and has been thinking through its implications on the institution of education. So let's continue in the dialogue.
Sounds good.
Prior, we were talking about different aspects of social media and interaction with the students and some of the barriers, and we concluded by saying that it's a cultural thing in the educational system. So for today, let's have a dialogue, and I'd like to give to you a clean board, a whiteboard, and say, Carter, if you were to be able to tell all university professors there is a tremendous opportunity here, what would that opportunity look like?
Well, first I think we have to define the opportunity.
That's probably a good idea.
The definition of this opportunity is a better way to connect with students, and through that connection, we are able to pass on the knowledge that we have amassed over the years and give it to them in a way that they will receive it and then be able to also spread it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to do that is to meet them where they are. I've likened it to the physical realm, where if I'm sitting in my office, which isn't between their classes, unless they have a bad test score, a note from their doctor on why they missed class, or their parents are complaining because their grades aren't high enough, I'm not going to see the students outside of the classroom. And it's very hard to converse 1 to 30 or 1 to 50 or 1 to 100 or more.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to have that conversation is on their own time, on their time, where they are. And that's in both realms. That's in the physical and in the virtual.
So social media enables you to do that.
Absolutely.
Really. Next question then would be, let's pretend that, and I know universities, because I've been reading some things, are concerned about the sharing of education and knowledge without compensation, and it's already happening out there because anybody can search the web, pull down white papers from Harvard and Wharton and all the major schools and really learn on their own without the interaction of a professor.
Right.
So how would you paint the picture that knowledge really is becoming free, and it's the application of knowledge, which I believe is the duty of a professor.
Yeah.
How would you propose that a virtual university, if you will, using all these tools, would do this?
Actually, the foundation of learning that came to me about 4 years ago. David Hooton was a Vanderbilt graduate just up the road, and he came and talked to a group of us who were making a transition, as it were, into online teaching. And he said, just so you know, your competition at this university is not the university down the road, and it's not the one the next state over, and it's not the one across the country. Your competition is Google.
Wow.
And some of us even knew what Google was.
Yeah.
And he said, now don't be too concerned, because what Google doesn't do is interact with the other. It's not a two-way conversation. It's asked, it's answered, the conversation is over. Pushing it one more step further, maybe the diploma might entice them, but it's actually having the conversation, creating the learning environment, not limiting the learning environment. You can have it wherever you want to. That's the bonus plan. That's what universities today have to master in order to, A, get students, and B, keep them.
Wow, that's profound when you think about that. For
Absolutely.
Now, let's pretend, for instance, that I'm a university, and really, from my perspective, and I wanted to share this with you and get your feedback, you're a professor. Your professor expertise is in criminal law, right? So, but there's a general public out here that is seeking knowledge as well, and like you say, they can Google it. They can get your white papers that you put out or blogs that you've done. But relative to the educational process, how could all these professors with all this knowledge actually leverage social media, not only for their direct students, but the general public at large?
As much as it pains me to say this, I would think that the people in higher education could use it like the business world does. If you want somebody to buy something, what do you give them? A sample. Yeah. If you want somebody to buy a car, what do you give them? The keys and the weekend, right? If you want somebody to buy this dog, the puppy in the window, what do? You give them a leash, you put the dog at the other end of it, and you say, go take a walk around the yard, the whatever. Take it home for a day. Bring it back if you don't like it. Oh, please, right? In higher education, if we give away part of the knowledge, let's get really creative. Let's say, here's topic A. Do you know much about it? Let's see. Let's give you a pre-test. It's something done in e-learning.
Wow.
We give you a pre-test. You take 10 questions. If you get all of them right, we may even give you a certificate of knowledge. It's not a diploma. It won't count towards college credit, but it will have our name on it, and it will be on your desk or wherever. We give you a certificate of passing this knowledge. If you don't get all 10 right and you say 70 or below or something, maybe we'll give you a discount on having this class over the next 5 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, however many weeks that you want to take it in. And if it's an interactive class, great. Maybe you just maybe you got a discount because you took it during this weekend. Let's market the thing.
Wow.
Knowledge is not best treated like product, but in today's economy, we got to treat it like something, because the way we're treating it now is not working.
That is insightful. That is a really cool idea. Is anybody doing that?
I don't know. Let's start now.
Well, in your view of, and I know you watch the space, is it frustrating from your perspective? You're an entrepreneur. You're on the edge thinker. You're a smart guy, and you love to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But from your perspective, do you see any universities really moving out of their Web 1.0 world, if you may, into the new world of engaging the general public, the new world of engaging their students, and the new world of exchanging knowledge?
Many of them are. Even more have pockets that are, usually student recruiting and things like that. But those that are doing it in a big way are using risk analysis in order to do it. They're worried about their reputation. They're worried about whether the professor will enhance or detract from their reputation. They're worried about whether the student who engages with the professor in an online conversation will be upset or not happy enough if he posts on the professor's wall at 2 o'clock in the morning and doesn't get a response till 7 a.m. after he's had his first cup of coffee or whatever. So they're conducting way too much risk assessment, I think, prior to implementing it in some full scale. What we don't want to do is tell all the professors, you have to get Web 2.0. Let some of them retire early. It's working for the car companies. It'll work for, so let them retire early.
Are they going to get a bailout?
Creates more positions for me, to choose from. But actually, honestly, you have the different learning styles in higher education. You have the different learning styles in the business world. You also have the different personality styles. And depending on who you talk to, there's from 2 to 20. I'm just talking introvert and extrovert. The introverts engage in Web 2.0 with a passion because they realize I can process what I just got. I don't have to be around a bunch of people to have a conversation. The extroverts get in there and they kind of bull in a china shop, as it were. Those two people can meet on level playing fields if it's in this kind of space. And only those who want to will do it successfully. So I don't think we ought to push them off the cliff, as it were, and say, go forth and do great things. We should offer opportunities to help them learn it. We should offer opportunities for them to practice, or sandbox, as it were, where they can engage with friends who aren't going to judge them, and it's not going to be painful, and we can erase the wall after you're finished. And maybe even show some, there are several universities who actually do a transitional period from those professors who are used to teaching in a face-to-face environment, moving into the online environment, and they will give anywhere from one day to 3 to 8 weeks or whatever. But give them time to play around with it. Give them time with their peers who understand the space where they can interact and find out where they fit. And then they'll find students that will fit in with that as well.
Fascinating stuff here. As we look at social media, it's not only disrupting business models and economic models, but the educational model. Carter, this has been fun. Let's come back and talk some more.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, sir.
Thank you all for being with us.